Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Adriaan and today we are going to convert a naturally aspirated 4-cylinder diesel engine to a turbocharged engine, and we're going to have a look and see what the effects are of turbocharging an engine. Now in front of you, you will see an inline 4-cylinder naturally aspirated engine. We are going to convert that now, and the first thing we need to do is to add the compressor and turbocharger block elements to the canvas. Now in the object properties, you will see there is a turbine component as well as a compressor component, and we can go and drag both of these components to the canvas. The last thing that we need to be on the canvas is the shaft. The turbo shaft can be found under the mechanical elements folder, and you will see there's turbo shaft. Next, we need to integrate the turbo compressor into the air intake and exhaust geometry. So if we start off first with the compressor, I'm going to delete this connection here in the middle, and I'm going to reroute it to the compressor. Similarly for the turbine, I want to place the turbine right after the exhaust manifold. So we are going to move a bit of the components about. And then lastly, we need to connect the compressor with the turbo shaft as well as with the turbine. All right, so we have gone and we've included the turbo compressor geometry blocks in our canvas. We now need to go and input all the relevant information into these blocks before we can run the model. Let's start off with the compressor first. So we select the compressor, and then at the right, we get all the properties necessary. When we look at the compressor type, we only have an option between variable geometry and a mapless compressor. Now it always defaults at variable geometry, and then at the bottom at vane analysis we can see that there's only one angle. If your turbine has more than one vane angle, then you can add them by clicking on the plus add button, but for now our compressor will only have one vane angle, so we're going to keep it as is. We also need to specify the compressor map, and this can be found under the configuration section. Ricardo comes with a lot of example compressor maps that you can use, and you can find them under the folder TC map in the examples folder under the program files of Ricardo WAVE. So we are going to use this 220 TC map, and you can see the file extension is CMP. That is just to indicate that it's a compressor map. We open that up. Now the nice thing is once you've opened it up, you can actually go have a look and see how it looks by clicking on the pencil button to edit it. And here is the compressor map of the one that we're going to use for this example, and you can clearly see the islands of maximum efficiency for the corrected mass flow on the x-axis and the pressure ratio on the y-axis. There's also the option for you to create your own compressor map, and then you will use this interface to create your own map. But for now, we are just going to use this map that has been provided together with the Ricardo WAVE software. Apart from specifying the map, we're going to keep the rest of the properties at their default values. Next is the turbo shaft. And now when we look at the properties for the turbo shaft, we can see you have an option to specify the inertia type, the value of the moment of inertia, and what speed option you have, and then obviously the speed option you can specify as well. And just be aware that the moment of inertia that you input here is the total inertia of the whole turbo compressor assembly, which include all rotating components of the compressor, the shaft, and the turbine. So this is not just the moment of inertia for the shaft, but for the whole turbo compressor assembly. We are going to specify a value of 1.1 E minus 5, and our speed option is going to be balanced. That just means that the turbo shaft will accelerate and decelerate based upon the power balance of all attached turbo elements and actuators. And I have specified a variable for the speed as compressor RPM. And that is it for the turbo shaft. Now let's move on to the turbine. First, we see that the turbine type again is variable geometry or twin scroll or mapless. We're going to keep it at variable geometry with just one rack position. And obviously, if you've got more than one rack position, then you can add them with the green plus button, but we actually don't have any additional racks. We've just got a normal turbine. Next, let's specify the map file. You can find the turbine map again in the same place where we found the compressor map. We're going to use the 220 TC map, and you can see the file extension is TRB, which indicates it's a turbine map. We're going to open that up. Now again, we can go and edit it just to have a look at how the turbine map looks like. And here is a nice picture of the turbine map, and you can clearly see again the pressure ratio in the x-axis, the speed in the y-axis, and we have our efficiency contour lines. Let's close that. You will also have the option to click the box for wastegate. If your turbine that you want to simulate has got a wastegate on, you can select that option and you can specify the wastegate open area either as millimeter squared or meter squared. For now, we're just going to deselect that. We don't have a wastegate, and we're going to keep the rest of the options as on their default values. All right, now we are ready to run the model. We've added the turbocharger element blocks. We've assigned them their corresponding maps, their corresponding performance maps. And now we want to see the actual effect of adding a turbocharger to the engine's performance, the engine's volumetric efficiency, as well as the engine's brake-specific fuel consumption. Now I've gone and I've ran two scenarios, one with the turbocharger added and one without. So essentially I've got results for a naturally aspirated 4-cylinder diesel engine as well as a turbocharged 4-cylinder diesel engine. And I'm going to compare the two now. Here is an example of the engine torque, and you can clearly see the blue one is the engine model with the turbocharger. What a difference it makes to the brake torque output of the engine if you include a turbocharger. With the naturally aspirated engine, we had a maximum torque output of about 94 Newton meters, whereas with the turbocharged engine, it outputs 148 Newton meters, which is quite a nice significant increase in terms of engine output. We can also see the brake thermal efficiency is increased by adding a turbocharger for RPM ranges between 1,000 and just below 4,000 RPM. Your brake-specific fuel consumption is also reduced when you add a turbocharger, and this is evident for engine speed between 1,000 and just below 4,000 RPM. Now this graph nicely shows the benefit of adding a turbocharger. By adding a turbocharger, we increase the total volumetric efficiency of the engine above 100%. And we can see that here at 3000 RPM, our volumetric efficiency is 132%, whereas for the naturally aspirated case, it's only 86%. This is why a turbocharger is beneficial, as it pumps in more air into the engine, which can then contribute to better combustion, more power output, and reduced fuel consumption. And that is how you add a turbocharger to your Ricardo WAVE engine simulation. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions, please put them in the comment section below. I'm also on LinkedIn and Twitter. If you want to connect with me and ask any questions there, you're more than welcome to do so. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.